moving back to the East Coast to talk about not the worst team, or the worst team, sorry, on the East Coast probably this season, the New York Giants. Last year, were 6-11 somehow. I thought they had 2 wins. Legitimately thought they had 2 wins. Brian Daboll, same head coach, same offense. Mike Kafka is the OC. Brian Daboll calls plays. Shocking that no guy outside of Andy Reid, who has been the head coach and called plays on either side of the football, has been successful. Shocking. Okay, 1.
I mean, you could argue Shanahan's been successful. He's been to
Has he?
Super Bowls,
Has he?
He just hasn't won it.
That's weird. He has multiple pairs of pants with shit stains on it from the championship at Super Bowl. So I wouldn't call that great. Projected starting offense. You know it's bad when your starting quarterback is quarterback 31 in ADP. You know it's bad.
So bad.
You know it's bad when his running back is almost outpacing his ADP. That's not good.
I would just like to say people are drafting Bryce Young before Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
There are 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Daniel Jones is being drafted quarterback 31 currently.
The backup QB for the Steelers, assuming it's Justin Fields, gets drafted before Daniel Jones.
Is that the ADP right now? Is that for real?
Yeah. Justin Fields goes like 27.
Yeah, Justin Fields.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I draft Justin Fields before him 100%.
Right.
Your running backs, Devin Singletary, RB 36. The other guys, they're not even getting drafted. There's literally not even an ADP for them. Eric Gray. Remember that guy who was like the 5th string on the practice squad last year and somehow managed his way to RB2? That guy. And then Tyrone Tracy Jr., who we will apparently be talking about in a minute because that's Ryan's guy. I'm so excited to hear about Tyrone Tracy Jr., and I just know it's going to be Devin Singletary's going to get hurt, and who else are they going to fucking go to? That's going to be the analysis.
Yeah,
Malik Neighbors, wide receiver 18, feels aggressive, to say the least. And if you want to know how good the Giants' wide receiver room is or how bad it is, the fall from Neighbors to Wan'Dale Robinson is 76. Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver 76. Jalen Hyatt, friend of the show, wide receiver 84. Darius Slayton, who was talking shit and skipping OTAs, wide receiver 95. 4th on the depth chart. Darren Waller, tight end 32. Theo Johnson, tight end 38. Daniel Bellinger, tight end 42. 3 tight ends being listed. They can all be somewhat relevant, especially since Darren Waller is contemplating retirement. We'll see what happens there. He lost Kelsey Plum, and now he may lose his NFL career. Tough year for Mr. Darren Waller. He lost Kelsey Plum. Come on now. I mean, come on. Ryan, I've never heard of this man until I read his name 5 seconds ago. So I want you to sell the world and tell me where this fucker went to college, because I have no idea.
Started off in Iowa, went to Purdue.
That doesn't help.
Tell him what position he played in college, Ryan.
Was he a wide receiver for most of his college?
Okay, fantastic. So I am currently, I'm both feet out of the boat, ready to drown like Jack on the Titanic. Sell me on Tyrone Tracy.
There's not a lot of room on that board. Oh, I knew
Antonio Gibson. Okay, you know what? No. Let's hear him out, guys. Let's hear him out. Let him cook. I mean,
Antonio Gibson was a college wide receiver, not a ton of college production. I actually think Tyrone Tracy might have more college production than Antonio Gibson had. But this is what you're moving into here with a team that does not mind throwing the ball to the running back. Devin Singletary's never been great at anything. Not to mention, Devin Singletary doesn't necessarily have the skill set to lock this job down. Why wouldn't they start finding out what they have in these picks towards the end of the draft? With Tracy, it's the receiving profile on a team with no receivers and maybe questions at tight end, though I do love Theo Johnson. There's correlation between tight end targets and RB targets. If they're not going to throw the tight end a lot, that could find its way there. It's a question of how good he's going to need to develop as a blocker. But then again, do they really want to protect Daniel Jones? Maybe they want to get him killed and you throw Tyrone Tracy out there. But what I liked about when I saw him, 8 rushing touchdowns as a senior in college, 5 receiving touchdowns throughout his career to go along with 1,200 receiving yards because, again, he was a receiver, averaged over 10 yards a catch, averaged over 7 yards a catch when he was playing the running back position. There's interesting athletic profile with Tyrone Tracy on a team that there's opportunity, and that's what you look for.
He
I mean,
was a
I
wide
will
receiver, and he had 5 receiving touchdowns.
Well,
All early on in his career. He did not have
on-
any when he switched to running back.
on Iowa, which is impressive in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
sure, it's Iowa.
So it's Iowa. Now, the 6-year senior is a red flag.
I'm not saying invest your entire fucking dynasty
No,
budget in Tyrone Tracy.
I'm
He's
this
going
is my
undrafted. He's going undrafted. So we're talking
this is my 7th round pick in redraft. I don't know what I'm sold here.
No.
I'm ready.
Do
I'm,
not.
I'm ready. I'm back on the door. I'm ready to
This is your
survive.
week 3 waiver.
It's like
pickup.
that. It's funny. It's like that. The Arrested Development meme where he's like, we could go after the wide receiver that was converted to running back, and she's like, well, did it work for those people? No, it never
for
does. But it might for us.
It might work for
Like
us.
But
the
it
one
could.
time, remember all the times that they said Tony Pollard just gonna play slot, so and so just gonna play slot.
Yeah.
Like it just never happens. But maybe,
Yeah, I don't
maybe with
expect
Tyrone
him.
Tracy.
Again, I don't expect him to play wide receiver. I'm just saying Devin Singletary is not the largest mountain to climb to be a starting running back in the NFL.
Well, he's
So-
5'9".
so here's-
It's not very tall at all, right?
Is he only 5'9"? I have 5'11" on College Reference.
No, we're talking about.
Oh, I thought he was
Oh.
5'9". I thought he was even shorter than that.
I have Tyrone
Singletary-
Tracy.
I know, I was talking about Singletary.
Tracy's bigger.
yeah.
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 Yeah,
Singletary.
Tracy's
Okay.
like 6'1".
Well, he's 5'11". 5'11", 201 is what it says on
Focus.
what it says on College Reference. That College Reference can also be very wrong sometimes, but I just wanted to pull up his stats. So he's built like a slot receiver, which is perfect because that's all the New York Giants employ.
So that's all.
And for some reason, it has seemed to not work out for Daniel Jones, Coop. Now, he's quarterback 31. I want to say you highlighted him to tell us why he's an okay pick at quarterback 31.
No,
But my
actually the
heart of
opposite.
hearts
Yeah.
is telling me he should be lower than quarterback 31.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, I've never been a big Daniel Jones guy. In fact, during the Evan Ingram versus Daniel Jones wars that were valiantly fought by me and Joshua Cho and a handful of people against the Giants Nation, I did lose quite a few Giants followers. So I have no problem bashing Daniel Jones because I don't have any Giants fans that follow me. This guy, his rookie year, he had 24 touchdown passes. Since then, he's had what? His best year
24 touchdown passes.
24, yeah, 15.
Yeah.
He
was
hasn't
his
topped 15 touchdown passes.
Last year, people forget that like he got hurt last year, but he played in 6 games. And in 5 of those games, he didn't throw any touchdown passes. None. One game he had 2 touchdown passes. He did win 5 games without throwing a touchdown pass last year. I think that this team did exactly the right thing. You can't get out from the contract right now. So what you do is you bring in a replacement level player to see if Daniel Jones is any good. If he gets beat out by the replacement level guy, or it's even an even competition. If it's an even competition, you get rid of both of them. But I think Drew Lock is just a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. Straight up, flat out. And Daniel Jones is coming out hurt. Drew Lock might I want to say that Daniel Jones will be the first quarterback benched. Excuse me. But Drew Lock might just take the job and never give it back. In which case Daniel Jones never gets benched.
So I want to play our first Would You Rather because I'm looking at this ADP and it's fucking hilarious. There's 2 projected starters that are going after Daniel Jones. Bo Nix at 33, Gardner Minshew at 34. If you want to count Aiden O'Connell, he's 38. There's 2 guys not like that projected starters that are going after him. I just want to play a little Would You Rather. That's all. I just want to play a little bit. Okay? Now, this is insane. I'm going to move around a little bit, but I'm going to go right to 32. And I'm going to start with Ryan, go to Coop, and then to Josh. Would you rather Daniel Jones or Michael Penix Jr., who is the quarterback 32, Ryan?
Daniel Jones.
Coop.
I'm not drafting Penix, no.
Okay, Josh.
Jones. I'm not drafting Penix.
Okay, so we found our
Not in
floor.
redraft. Yeah, not.
We
not
have
in
found
redraft.
our floor.
In
No, I
Dynasty,
think the issue is that you're dealing with the dynasty drafters pushing Penix up right now, where he should not even be mentioned in redraft.
Sure, that's fair. Let's go Bo Nix at quarterback 33 or Daniel Jones. Ryan.
Bo Nix.
Coop.
I'm taking Penix.
Josh.
Bo Nix.
Not even a question. I'm going to skip Gardner Minshew because I also think that one's a no-brainer. How about Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones? Ryan.
Darnold.
Coop.
Darnold.
Josh.
Yeah, Darnold, just because of the supporting cast. I think they probably play the same amount of games, though.
Yeah. Which is none.
Yes. Quarterback 36. Sam Howell or Daniel Jones? Ryan.
Oh.
The fact it's even a debate.
This is they're the same player to me right now, except Howell's younger, so I guess Howell, he has a better chance to take the job instead of lose the job.
Coop.
I'll take Daniel Jones. It's just the thing is with Daniel Jones is that the one thing he could do is run a little bit, but now he's coming off a very serious knee injury.
Yes. Josh.
I think right now it's Daniel Jones' job to lose, whereas it's Sam Howell's job to win. So give me Jones for right now.
Okay. I have two more. Zach Wilson or Daniel Jones? Ryan.
I don't think Wilson plays, honestly, so Daniel
No,
Jones.
I can't take
Coop.
Zach Wilson. No, I'm not drafting Zach Wilson.
Josh.
Jones.
Okay, we found the shittier of the two trash bags. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And we'll end it on quarterback 39. This is not 8 spots behind Daniel Jones. Jacoby Brissett or Daniel Jones? Ryan.
I think Brissett starts. Jacoby Brissett.
Coop.
In redraft, I'll take Brissett, but in any sort of best ball, I think I got to take.
That's a very interesting point.
Because if I can't drop the guy to waivers, I got to just go with Daniel.
Sure.
Yeah, I have to be able to. Yeah, my caveat is I have to be able to drop Daniel Jones no matter where
I have to be able to.
Yes.
Well, and Brissett, it's like you can start him potentially for a game or two, but I don't know. I feel like Drake May takes over a bunch.
Josh.
I still would go Brissett. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if he ends up starting 15 games this year.
Patriots undefeated, $10.
Obviously,
$10
$10 to win $1 million. Now, the real interesting one is Joe Flacco at quarterback 40 if Anthony Richardson gets hurt. I'm just saying, there's a lot of quarterbacks going after
I feel
Daniel
like Cleveland
Jones.
caught lightning in a bottle last year. I just don't see that shit happening again.
Hey, don't you talk shit about Joe Flacco.
Comeback player of the year again if he starts again.
Could you imagine? That'd be awesome.
I was thinking that with Justin Herbert. He missed 5. How many games do you have to miss to? Apparently,
He
you don't have to
should
miss
not
any
get comeback player of the year. Wrong. I
broken
no.
finger.
Oh.
He came rehabbing his. Did some montage of him rehabbing his finger.
If he gets comeback player of the year, that's like NBA players getting rookie of the year in their second year in the league. Ben Simmons, Chet Holmgren, like that shouldn't be fucking allowed. You spent 1 year in the NBA.
Didn't Artemi Panarin come over and win the hockey?
Yes.
He was like
Dumb.
he was like 31-year-old Russian dude.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you played 100 games in Russia? Yeah, come over here, you win rookie of the year. So stupid.
Yeah.
Last guy we're going to talk about. Wan'Dale Robinson. Josh, you liked him coming out, right? You were.
I liked him a little, yeah. I mean, he's an interesting guy. Plays very close to the line of scrimmage. Generates a lot of his yards after the catch. He averaged 6.4 yards after the catch per reception in college. 5 yak per reception through 2 seasons with the Giants. The thing that I like is that Brian Daboll's a very good schemer. Like, he will scheme plays to get his people open, and he does that with Wan'Dale. Wan'Dale, even coming off of a torn ACL from his rookie year, he led this team in targets per game last year amongst the wide receiver core. Let me rephrase that because that was still Darren Waller. But yes, Malik Neighbors is going to come in. He's going to dominate the target share. I just think that wide receiver 18 is just way too rich of a price for somebody that has a bottom 3 offensive line in the NFL, and your quarterback's going to be throwing from his ass on the ground. Yes. So I would much rather take the safer bet at ADP, which is the guy that can get it closer to the line of scrimmage and gain the yards however he needs to. You don't love the 8.8 yards per reception from last year, but again, I think this offense should be a little bit better because Neighbors brings more of a dynamic look to this offense because of what he can do deep down the field.
So you're playing Robinson's the better value, but I mean by far at that point. Yeah. And with Neighbors being 18, I want to do it one more time. We're not going to go around the room. I'm just going to say names, and if you disagree, just speak up. Would you take this guy over Neighbors? And I'm doing every guy below him on this list. So he's currently wide receiver 18. I'm going to go all the way to probably the early 30s because I really think, like, even then, he's still not, like, you're still not even considering it. Mike Evans.
Oh, yeah.
Jalen Waddle.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Pittman. DK Metcalf.
Yep.
Devonta Smith.
Keep going.
Cooper Kupp.
Keep going.
Tank Dell. The only thing you could say is maybe because of the injury. That's the only thing you could say.
Or the fullback. I might take
that might be the cutoff for me.
I might take Neighbors there.
But hold on.
But the thing is, I have Dell low. Yeah, keep going because I have other guys.
Keenan Allen.
I would take Keenan Allen.
T. Higgins, obviously, that's contract dependent. Roma Dunze. I'm going to skip Rashee Rice.
I would take Higgins. I would take Higgins and Ayuk because I think that if a team's trading for him, it's to make him a focal point to pay him. So
Sure.
The situation for Higgins, I think, can only go lateral and could possibly even go up.
Sure. I'm going to skip Rashee Rice, obviously, with the legal issues. Zay Flowers.
Yeah, just Flowers.
George Pickens.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper.
I like
Christian Kirk. Jaden Reed. Hollywood. Terry McLaurin. Calvin Ridley. Brian Thomas. Jordan Addison. We're really taking Malik Neighbors 21 spots ahead of Jordan Addison?
I might take Neighbors.
I have Neighbors over Addison in my rank.
I was going to say, I think
21 spots,
yeah,
though?
not by that. No,
That's
they're
insane.
They're two apart. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But even guys like, how
Fever.
about Jackson Smith and Jigba?
I like JSN over
Yeah, he's 43 right now. Neighbors is up so high.
I think
granted,
what happened was there's carryover from pre-draft, from the pre-NFL draft.
yeah.
So what's happening in best
Agreed.
ball? What's happening in best ball? And I have some neighbors from this standpoint where we didn't know where these guys were all going to go.
Mhm.
So Marvin Harrison Jr. was going so high that a lot of us, myself included, were saying, "Oh well, I'll just take Neighbors because we don't know who's going to be better and we don't know where they're going to end up." But now that he's ended up with the Giants, we really got to turn around. We got to turn around and fade.
Yeah, I think that ADP is going to come way down over the next couple.
I think it's going to drop too. But even the Marvin Harrison Jr. ADP feels okay. He's around AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson are the two ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr.
No, but the issue is, to Coop's point, you coming into the draft, for all the people coping that they weren't going to get Harrison, you had the people who were like, well, Neighbors is as good as Harrison.
Fuck it, Neighbors, yeah.
But there's a literal large difference between the landing spots that needs to be factored in specifically for redraft. I don't hate Neighbors for Dynasty because Jones is gone next year.
Of course.
But for redraft, Neighbors is in my 30s and Marvin Harrison's like a top 12 wide receiver.
And even at their over/under for yardage, like, you know, Marvin Harrison Jr. is at like 1,000 and Neighbors at like 800 something. Like, they're telling us that they shouldn't be drafted that close together anymore.
That's a really good point.
A different way to lay into that, you know.
And we go right into Malik Neighbors over under for receiving yards. And Ryan, you like the over there at 840 essentially.
I mean, he's a big play wide receiver, and he is easily the best wide receiver on his entire team. If he plays 16 games, he's going to cross this number quite easily. I haven't projected it just under 1,000, taking the lion's share of the team's targets. This is a team that is going to need to still throw the football. They're not very good, and I just see Neighbors as their heads and tails best receiver. That's not a big number to call.
That's him.
To that point, last year, even with injuries, there were 27 wide receivers that had 1,000 yards. So you can still bet the over on that and say to yourself, he's not wide receiver 18.
100%. Great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he could still hit the over on that and have 900 yards, right? 27 wide receivers had 1,000 yards last year. So, like, he could easily fall somewhere in that mix where he doesn't have 1,000 yards and he still hits the over on 840.
33 wide receivers hit this number.
Right. Yeah.
And that's him averaging 60 yards a game, a little more. So it's crazy. Coop, you have the Giants under 6.5 wins. Feels easy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I only put that because I couldn't find any way to bet them to have 0.
I love that. I love that.
I went through the schedule and I didn't really see a whole lot.
Yeah, why isn't last winless team in?
I feel like we need to make our own little bet here. What's the over/under on how many losses before Brian Dable gets fired?
Yeah, I think he should get.
If they lose the first 5, he's gone.
How many losses before the Chargers lose their first game?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the very first game of the season is the most winnable game for the Giants. It's Minnesota, right? And they have a rookie quarterback potentially. After that, I mean, they really got to win like they got to win both games against Washington. How many wins? Like, let's say, stop me if it's a game that is even a coin flip, right? So Minnesota they could win. Washington, we'll say that's a coin flip, so that's 2.
I think both games, yeah.
Cleveland, Dallas,
Nope.
Seattle, the Bengals, the Eagles, at Pittsburgh.
If it's in Pittsburgh, no.
Okay, Washington, we give them that one. Carolina, they got to win that one. That's in Germany.
That's
so,
a wash. Then you have no fucking clue. Yeah. That's a wash.
Can't lose on your bye week. Tampa Bay was playoff team last year. Dallas,
nope.
New Orleans,
nope.
It depends on what Derek Carr shows up.
That's what I mean. Then they get Baltimore. I think we'll give that one to Baltimore. Atlanta's possible, but it's Kirk Cousins' Atlanta, and then they get the Colts, and they finish with the Eagles. So there's a ton of games there.
If you give them all the coin flips, it's 4 wins. If you give them all the coin flips, it's 4 wins. And they're seeing the shittiest division in the NFC this year, and we didn't even give them 1 win, which is the NFC South. We didn't give them 1 win in the shittiest division in all of football.
It'd be nice for them if they didn't have to go to Germany for that game.
I would agree. If that was in the States, I would probably give it to them.
It just
but
makes
Germany
it
wash.
makes it such a, it's a Plinko machine.
Do we think the Giants team is better than last year's team?
No.
They won 6 games last year.
Their defense.
How? Yeah.
That's insane.
I don't know. I'm looking at there's you can bet for them to be the team with that stays undefeated for the longest. That is.
I wouldn't take that bet.
That stays defeated for the longest. Actually.
Oh, defeated! I'd take that bet.
Oh, that's a bet.
I think you can do it. Hold on.
I'd take it. I don't know what it is, but I'd take the odds. It's got to be.
They got to be top team.
Minus 300.
It can't be negative.
Could you imagine? That you're that bad? You're minus 300 to be the last winless team. That would suck. Well, Coop's finding it. Josh, you have Malik Neighbors under 5.5 receiving touchdowns. Ryan brought up his big playability. Finding the end zone might just be a tough ask for this man, unless he finds 6 breakaway 70-yard deep ball touchdowns. I don't think this man's going to be finding the end zone too often.
Yeah, I have him projected at 5, and I think even that's generous. No Giants receiver has topped 6 receiving touchdowns since 2019 when they had 2, Darius Slayton and Golden Tate.
And that was before any of Daniel Jones, right?
No, that was the year that was Daniel Jones.
That was rookie Daniel Jones. Okay.
That was rookie Daniel Jones when he had 24 touchdown passes.
Okay.
They have not, as a team, they have not topped 20 passing touchdowns since.
Okay, so they're actually not even the best odds. Patriots at plus 600 to go winless for the longest is the best. You can take them at plus 1,200. Giants to be the team with the winless team for the longest.
Is that on FanDuel?
That's on DraftKings. I kind of like that.
Okay.
I take that. I take plus 1,200. Sure, why not?